something happened that happens frequently, not all the time, but frequently, and made me wonder about the idea of work. The garbage on a week. So our garbage is only picked up on Wednesdays. So Monday was a holiday, it doesn't affect us, right? But when are they going to come? If it takes them a whole day to do their normal route for that day, then how are they going to do it Wednesday? And they actually end up doing it Thursday. But then if they do it Thursday, what about the people who are supposed to be Friday? Do they get done on Saturday? Do they work an extra day? Do they not? And if it's actually true that they just work harder each day, then why do they actually need to have 5 days if they could do the work in four? Do they get a choice? I guess it wouldn't work out for the customers so well, but if you just tell the customers and just switch them to 4 days instead of a 5 day schedule, right? Then doesn't it all sort of wash out? Isn't it all the same? And it goes back to the concept of work, right? So certain things have to be, a person has to be there regardless of how much work they're doing. So for a silly example, right? The grocery store, because somehow we haven't figured out how to let people pay themselves. Rather, we don't trust people to just take stuff and pay themselves, right? Because all these self-scanning things, self-checkout, they still have people watching them. And then the airport has stores where you just scan and grab and go. And they have cameras with signs saying don't, people are watching you. Anyways, the idea is that some jobs require someone physically be there. So they're doing work, but they may not be working. They just have to put in the time, right? And so in the hospital as well, I guess there has to be a doctor on staff, even if there's nobody there. So these small hospitals may have zero patients and got to be a doctor available just in case somebody comes in. But I think the bigger question is the jobs that require work, like output, like a certain amount of stuff to be done. Why do you have to be there a certain number of hours? Why do you have to log in, log out? Why do you actually have to sit in a chair or be in an office? If you could do your week's worth in a day, isn't that beneficial for everybody? Like, they get it done faster if you finish on Monday instead of going through Friday. And you could enjoy the rest of your time off. I mean, it doesn't work that way, right? I don't know if it ever works that way, but most of the places that I know about, and I'm going to say 90% of the workplaces in the world, want you actually to plop your butt in that seat and be here for 8 hours or whatever it is. Why? Right? If you're talking about work, as in making something, sitting on your butt and not doing anything is not making something. There's different ways people address this issue, right? So I have a friend who gets assigned stupid tasks. He's a programmer. Yeah, he gets assigned silly QA tasks that an idea of equality distribute to everybody in the office equally. So the receptionist gets to do some QA tasks, and so does he. The receptionist physically does these QA tasks because they're just a receptionist. They don't have programming skills. They don't know how to write scripts. So when you tell them click on these buttons on a web page, make sure they're working, they actually click on them. He just writes a script to automate all these tests and just says nothing, but he's like, that's fine. He'll just automate and just do nothing the rest of the day, basically. The computer's already done it for him in a minute. Another person told me that in China, many times you have people who have to stay late because you're sort of obligated to stay late. I think that's true in many other countries. I just don't know how they handle it. So the idea is that they're very slow at work. They're like sitting there doing nothing. And she's saying someone made a comment that it's funny that somebody's commenting that people at work speak very slowly. And someone else says, they don't do that in normal life. Wait till they get off work. They'll speak normal speed. But at work, they speak very slowly because you don't want to be in a hurry, right? You want to spread out your work because you got 10 hours of time to kill, right? And so many people have to stay late just because it's the expectation. And she says there's no point doing your work in the morning or hurrying through because you still got to stay here till 8 p.m. Might as well just do it slowly. And remember, as a kid, it's like, if I gotta do my homework, and I can't go out to play till 5, and it's 2 p.m., what is the rush to finish at 3? Still can't do anything. I might as well take a nap first. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Mom will wake me up. do my homework, and be done, and then eat and play. Sounds good, right? But it's like we're not little kids anymore. Why is work still such a punitive thing, right? I mean, in a hospital, I work in a hospital. If you finish your work, why shouldn't you be able to leave early? Why do you feel obligated to stay? One of it is covering your patients, right? So if you're not, have something unfinished, right? Yeah, you should stay. If your patient might be crashing, instead of burning somebody else, yeah, you should stay. But if you're done, like, why are you hanging out? Just sort of for fun, right? Like, in another hospital I worked at, we would take breaks for lunch, which every doctor does, except we'd actually go out because we were in downtown. Why not? Go out, get some food. Some people feel it looks bad, right? Is it because we can't respond as quickly as some other doctors? That's certainly correct, but it doesn't matter because all emergencies aren't responded to by us anyways. We're just hospitalists. ICU, ER, they respond to all the codes, plus the people actually doing it. But the thing is, you had this obligation to show your face. Say, I'm working hard. And I feel like some of us have realized the doctors who stay late, I don't know that they're working hard, rather they're less efficient, right? Could have had a bad day, but if you're staying late every day, it means more that maybe you're not as efficient. And I think that the idea of working, right? Efficiency is something that supposedly companies praise. They like it, right? But in essence, because you have to put in the time, they put that butt to warm up that seat, because apparently that is what work is. Well, I guess just do whatever you do. It doesn't really matter, right? And so I feel that's the one issue with doing a good job, right? Doing a good job. What is the motive for finishing quicker, right? I mean, you're not saying you're spurring someone to do a shoddy job just to finish. But what is the motive for doing a good job and finishing quicker? And for most people now, there is none. See, we learned in high school that work is defined in physics, right? As the amount of stuff done over a period of time or a period of distance, right? So, in a sense, the work, right, going directly lifting a brick straight up versus lifting up a ramp is sort of the same, except that one is easier than the other, but it's over a longer distance. But in real life, there's no definition of work. We still don't know. We still haven't defined. We haven't come to a consensus of what work is expected of an employee. And I feel, how are we supposed to advance if we haven't settled this issue? What is work? I think we simply don't know.